In Taiwan, Master Cheng Yen's visit to Taichung is greeted with stories from Nantou volunteers. In Malaysia, Tsuji has enacted a COVID relief project since August to provide financial assistance. Selamat datang ke DaAi Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. Recently, Master Cheng Yen's visit to Taichung was greeted with stories from Nantou volunteers. She applauded the volunteers for their sincerity, as the act of helping others is a precious quality.
Years of trash piled up at home, and there's no room even for walking. 18-year-old student Zhang lived there for almost 8 years. After his parents divorced, student Zhang lived with his mother, but she drank heavily and regularly, causing brain damage, which led to a disability.
The restroom was filled with these toilet papers. It's like how the Earth Store Bodhisattvas mentioned that dirty environments can also be seen on Earth.
Living in similar condition, low income, 70-year-old Mr. Ji regularly picks up recyclables back home, as it spawns bugs everywhere.
Our Mr. G has friends. Besides flies and cockroaches, we also saw rats and snakes.
Volunteers cannot bear with the recipient's poor and dangerous living condition. Therefore, Nantou volunteers set out to clean his environment.
因为爱，没有惧怕，拨开了惧怕，还是要做。为的是什么？为的是一念爱，清净无染。那翻转了污染的外景，总是呢，净化自己内心的污染。
Wherever there's a need, Tsuji arrives. Previously in India, Rixen Jatsen Rinpoche came over to thank Master Cheng Yen's economic assistance to local areas in India.
Master Cheng Yen is quite old now, and what she's doing is great, helping people in need. So this is why we are here today.
让我们有机会可以做得到，这都是许许多多都是因缘呐。
Many people prayed as they wished the pandemic may come to an end.
At the year-end blessing ceremony in Nantou District, role model Tzu Chi volunteer Cao Meiying passed away on November 11th and fulfilled her wish to be a silent mentor. Cao also devoted herself in doing Tzu Chi during her lifetime. Let's take a look at her story. Tzu Chi volunteer Cao Meiying originally worked at Nantou Junior High School. Everyone called her Teacher Cao.
I used to be very strict at school, a very vigorous teacher. But now I'm not anymore. When my students see me, they will ask how come I'm so kind now. I told them that the masters taught me.
Cao Meiying used her education expertise to set up the DaAi Mother classroom in Nantou and mobilize dozens of volunteers from it.
In my mind, Teacher Cao is a very diligent and persistent Tzu Chi sister.
That's how she practices the Dharma. She hopes to inspire everyone to have a bodhisattva heart with her own actions.
In February this year, Teacher Cao was diagnosed with stomach cancer. She wanted to spend her remaining time meaningfully, so all she cared about was participation in Tzu Chi.
I have done a surgery, cutting off 2/3 of my stomach. I still have to do chemotherapy, but our blood drive activities must be held. We can't wait.
Teacher Cao, who was already getting thinner, still gathered her strength to lead the DaAi Mothers.
They are very earnest and I feel very comforted.
2 weeks later, Teacher Chao's condition got worse. She exhausted the last breath practicing the Dharma and had no regrets in her life.
I have no regrets in walking Tsuji path. I have no regrets in walking Tsuji path.
These were the last words from Teacher Cao. 3 days later, she passed away and became a silent mentor by donating her body. Her wonderful life came to a successful conclusion, and her model spirit will be forever remain in the hearts of Tsuji. Former Tzu Chi Hospital Superintendent Dr. Tseng Wen-ping has dedicated himself in the field of medicine for 52 years and has also continued to uphold the spirit of doing good deeds. Master Cheng Yen has also praised that Dr. Cheng is truly a great doctor, as transcribed in the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings. Let's take a look at his legacy.
医学本身 是终生学习，所以自己还有生命的时候就不能离开专业。
我是在民国68年开始呢，就起了这一个动念呐，要在东部盖医院。我看到了曾院长的那一年，1981年，我到他家，看到这个好我啊，一个战副院长啦，一个就讲。输起病院真困难哦，在面对医疗哦，唔是简单哦。后来我就讲，你是不是会当帮助我？伊讲可以呀，你若有信心的会当。需要我帮助，我帮助你。
父亲后来又来到。
My father then came over to Tzu Chi Hospital. I think that throughout his lifetime, he was doing the things that he thinks are meaningful.
他做他认为有意义的事情。
当开院的时候。
When the hospital was first established, there are only 4 directors and 9 resident doctors. All the medical expenses need to be paid when the patient is about to leave the hospital. There are many people who are unable to pay their medical bill. Under this condition, the hospital was losing money every day.
After shouldering the responsibility of the superintendent from the late Dr. Tu Shimian, Dr. Tseng is very cautious of the expenses of the hospital, big or small. However, he's very willing to spend when it comes to recruiting doctors and buying the latest medical equipment. In the 10 years of being the superintendent, Dr. Tseng transformed Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital into a medical center.
他不只是看病啊，他呢还会这个提药啊，他很用心哦，对病下药，还有呢随病受药，看伊是什么病啊，就给他什么药哈，那。令众脑服，那就是让大家人呢真欢喜、真有信心吃伊的药啊！恁知影无？3分病痛是7分靠信心嘛，所以呢，对这个医生有信心的迄药啊吼，足有效的啦。
Dr. Tseng Wen-ping has a friendly personality, and all the hospital staffs fondly think of him as a father figure. Although he has already retired, he and his wife often volunteer in the hospital.
Under the guidance of Dr. Tseng, all the staffs in the hospital are like siblings. Just like what the master said, we are all one big family.
In 2005, Dr. Tseng was awarded the Special Contribution Award of the Medical Contribution Award. He dedicated this award to his wife, who has been the biggest support throughout the years.
My father is able to accomplish many things because of the constant support of my mother. She has also taken care of everything in our family. She is our role model. I'm very proud to be her son.
Although Dr. Tseng has accomplished a lot in the field of medicine, yet he still remains down to earth. This is his initial aspiration when he first started being a doctor, and after 52 years, it still remains the same.
曾院长他写落来献我这世，这种守护生命、守护爱的这种千古传奇的生命的乐章，我相信呢。他实在是名副其实啦哈，所以真正是大医王啊。
In Hengchun, Taiwan, there's a lack in medical resources. In 3 local hospitals, there are veteran doctors who have been stationed there for more than 20 years. Many gave up high salaries in the city to serve these rural areas. Let's take a look at their stories.
His back is a little hunched, but 84-year-old Dr. Jungyeon still takes time to visit the countryside.
I visit some people who can't come to see a doctor or those who have been strangely missing for a long time, like those living alone, especially the elderly living alone. Let's visit them.
所以张医生，你常常都会来这里？
礼拜三，每一个礼拜三。
你可以一起做吗？
你手卡就想进来。
Talking with the elders in the community is part of Zhang Jiancheng's daily life in Hengchuan for 22 years.
It was difficult at first because they don't trust us, but that is not the case now. I really care about you.
He gave up the comfortable life in the United States for 20 or 30 years. He left his comfort zone and came to Hengchuan's rural villages to care about the elders.
好，来，进来。
Zhang Jiancheng went to settle in the United States but would use his 30-day vacation every year to return to participate in free clinics in Taiwan. Later, he decided to dedicate himself to this full-time.
My eldest son did not want to do electrical engineering anymore. He said, "Dad, I want to be a pastor." At that time, I was touched, so I said yes. Then I gave up my job in the United States and came back to Taiwan.
He can retire now, but he is still willing to stay here and work for the residents of Hengchuan.
Along with Zhang Jiancheng is another old doctor who is now in the hospital.
所以现在要去看的那个是哪一位医师？
许志新医师，年纪84，
跟你一样，
跟我一样。
找战友，对不对？
对啊，战友啊，他是外科的。
Dr. Xu Zixing, after retiring, went to serve in Hengchuan specifically to fill the medical gap in rural areas.
你好，徐师傅，我们从高雄的朋友啊。
你好，师母好，师母好。
病人在等你啊。呀，所以刚想起来，我们不敢退，因为退的话。
We dare not retire because after quitting, there will be no doctors. Hengchuan will have fewer doctors, though the medical needs will continue.
来，请坐哈。
Dr. Tseng Wen-ping, 60, was the only obstetrician in Hengchuan.
I am on duty 24 hours a day. At that time, if there is an outpatient clinic and then there was a pregnant woman who was about to give birth, I would tend to her on the second floor. And then I would come down and take care of clinic visits.
When you come to a different place by yourself, you will definitely have a homesickness. She probably isn't affected because she has the heart of doctor.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, ada si Roy.
Cheng Yen is an overseas Chinese from the Philippines. She has been a doctor for 35 years. In 2001, she came to Taiwan for medical service, has been safeguarding the health of those in Hengchuan for nearly 20 years.
If I did not stay, a child may be born on the side of the road suddenly and then would have to transfer to another hospital. And if there was a problem on the road, the child would suffer and this would be a pity.
Dedicated to medical service most of the day, Cheng Yen has recently suffered kidney damage. She has to undergo dialysis 3 days a week, though she still insists on seeing patients even on holidays.
As long as I can do this work and if the hospital still needs me, I will continue.
In Malaysia, during the movement control order, the economy sank and many people lost their jobs or had their wages cut. Tsuji has enacted a COVID relief project since August to help families financially while also providing care for these people.
Due to COVID-19, many have lost their jobs, and without an income, they are unable to pay their rents, let alone their bills.
Pest control. Dia tutup ke apa?
Tak ada, dia kurang orang.
Dia daripada bulan 3, bulan 4, bulan 4 sampai sekarang. Dia ada asma. Dia meninggal dalam kereta.
This now single mother Lena has 5 children to take care of since her husband passed away in June. She can't return to work as she needs to take care of the kids. She was relying on her sister to help them out financially, but recently her sister lost her job too.
Dia pun tengah cari benda apa lagi.
Kalau you kerja cleaner lagi, memang tak ada orang jaga anak.
Some families are in real need, and no matter if we are helping for a few months or longer than that, I believe this help is of great assistance, even if it's just showing them that someone is there to care for them.
Relief is definitely aimed at those who lost wages due to job.
Tsuji volunteers in Malaysia have been promoting the relief project aimed at families who are suffering financially due to COVID. This project began back in August and to date has helped a total of 116 families.
The establishment of the consultation table has helped us gather a long roster of names, and since most of the cases are living in flats, we need more hands on deck. We hope to relieve their burden and help them find a new job so they are not in this situation for long.
Tsuji volunteers are here to help the less fortunate and accompanying them through this difficult time.
Tsuji Philippines chapter has enacted work for relief in Marikina City, and several boroughs have completed the project. Furthermore, Tsuji also held a financial distribution, helping about 23,000 families.
It's been 3 weeks since Typhoon Goni, and in the past couple of days, Tsuji Philippines chapter have hosted financial aid distributions in a few of the hard-hit districts in Albay province. There are not many volunteers for the distribution, but since the Angels in Blue and White have been here for the past 3 weeks, the locals have become very familiar with the volunteers. After receiving their financial assistance and letter of condolence, the recipients also donate a little something back to show their appreciation. Meanwhile, Marikina City's Work for Relief program continues. As the roads and streets are still piled up with garbage, the other public areas such as the gymnasium and schools are underway to be cleaned, with the firefighters even volunteering their water hose. Though many of the residents in Marikina seem helpless to the disaster, the locals are actually joining together to help one another. Such is the case for Lolito Ep Sarona, who had nothing left after the storm flooded his home. His neighbors are here, led by local volunteer Gina Lynn Soriano, to assist the senior in cleaning up.
So glad we can help this man to clean up his home, because the muddy debris, if left long, will be unsanitary and cause him to get sick. He can't clean it up all on his own, so we can help by doing some of the work. It's really not just us that's doing this. The whole barangay has been helping one another.
I'm very thankful my neighbors are here to help me. I'm so grateful they have helped me clear out the debris from the home.
The urge to help one another is also happening at the Tsuji Eye Center, where doctors and medical staff are taking some time off to personally receive donations from patients.
The devastations of the 2 typhoons are challenges God has given us. Those of us who are not affected by the storm should lend assistance to the less fortunate by strength or otherwise.
After the storm disaster, many of the Filipinos are suffering, and I feel for their hopelessness and despair. Today, I've received help, and I want to reciprocate that help through Tsuji.
Though the funds raised might not be much, each coin, each bill represents the love and care of the donors, and this accumulated love will be passed on to the disaster victims.
In the aftermath of typhoon disasters in the Philippines, Tsuji Foundation has held a gratitude concert at the Tsuji Senior High School in Tainan. The event aims to raise funds to help typhoon-affected residents in the Philippines. Here's more.
Singing popular songs, singer Taichung has brought joy and love. In addition, award-winner singer Tseng Wen-ping has led other singers to pray for typhoon-affected residents in the Philippines.
As we do our share to contribute a little, more people will know about it. As we inspire people's love, the love is in the world.
Love keeps on moving. As I come here, I can feel everyone's energy of love. We can share with each other and pass on the spirit to more people.
At the gratitude concert held in Tzu Chi High School in Tainan, adults and children have come to raise fund.
Through the concert, we can inspire people's love. The donation amount does not matter. We are forming affinities with the public.
Among the audience, 3 Philippine immigrant workers have also come to support the cause.
Glad and very happy for your sympathy and for helping my country. Thank you so much. We appreciate, very appreciate.
They heard about the disaster in their hometown, so they also want to do their share to help out. They are eager to participate in this event.
Among the performers, the sign language team from Tsuji Elementary School used their hands to deliver the warmth of love.
We need to raise funds and help those countries.
We nurture their compassion since they are young. After participating in the event, they will feel differently, as they will gain a lot.
As the performers present beautiful music, they also raise funds to help people in need in different parts of the world.
Tsuji Pingtong chapter held a blood stem cell registration event. Within 2 hours, 160 samples were retrieved. The heroes behind these activities are recruits from a nearby army base. Let's take a look.
Rolling up their sleeves and drawing blood for a blood stem cell registration, recruits are young and eager to help others. Humorous volunteers lighten up the mood as some people are still nervous. Medical staff gave some water to relieve their stress. Cherishing faith, volunteers hope that young people may quit smoking, saving themselves.
The officials from the military especially agree with this event, so everyone set out to do different tasks. Some volunteers did promotion at the military base.
From filing information to blood drawing, the event under the military's collaboration is set to finish within 2 hours. Team of members and volunteers came from all directions in order to ensure maximum efficiency.
I hope that recruits with love and a healthy body may come to the blood stem cell registration.
From new recruits to donors, they are good and healthy. Today, there are around 100 participants. We have never seen this amount before. Their participation was great.
Motivated young people displayed courage and love, as this is a good chance to elevate one's mentality, gaining the opportunity to help others.
In the Philippines, Tzu Chi Scholarship recipients from Bohol Island head out to the streets to collect donations for the typhoon-affected residents. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.